Randika Geekinage, and this recording is for the purpose of assessment and will be saved and stored in accordance with UNEP policy and procedure.
I consent to the recording. I am Deshani and I am willingly participating for this role play.
I am Nisal. I am willing to participating for this role play.
I am Netmi and I am willingly participating for this role play.
Good morning everyone. Let's move on with the agenda item 1, which is introduction and objective setting. Thank you for joining today's critical meeting. As you know, I am Charlie Parker and I will be the chairing our session focused on the expansion of pit stop and the introduction of our new car wash service. The goal today is not just to brainstorm but to critically assess the risks our expansion project faces.
Good morning, Charlie. Happy to hear and contribute.
Morning, Charlie. Looking forward to driving into the operational aspects.
Good morning, everyone. Eager to ensure our compliance bases are covered.
Excellent. Let me first emphasize the importance of today's discussion. The discussion we make and the risks we identify will lay the groundwork for our strategic planning and execution. Our objective is to come out with this meeting with a comprehensive list of potential risks excluding WHS, which we can prioritize and later develop mitigation strategies for. We'll be using two main techniques today for idea generation: brainstorming and a SWOT analysis.
Sounds like a good plan. It's crucial we get a good handle on the financial risk up front.
Agreed. And from an operations perspective, understanding the potential impact on our current services is a key.
And on my end, ensuring we remain within regulatory boundaries and uphold our ethical standards is paramount.
Preciously, I am counting on your expertise to guide us through this process. Let's make sure we keep an open mind and consider all possible angles. Now, if there are no immediate questions, let's dive into the overview of our expansion plans and the introduction of our new car wash service.
Yes, we can move on to the next segment.
Okay, let's start with our overview of ambitious expansion plans and the new services we are considering. Our main focus is scaling up pit stop operations to include new service centers and introducing an innovative car wash service. This move is designed to not only enhance the current offerings but also to tap another new market segments.
Can you explain more about this expansion?
Yes, the expansion involves opening several new service centers in strategic locations. We have conducted preliminary market research indicating strong demand for high quality, convenient car services, including car washes. The addition of a car wash service is particularly exciting. It represents a significant opportunity to differentiate ourselves in the market and provide added value to our customers. To give you a clear picture, I have prepared some leaflets showing our targeted locations and projections from our market research, which underscore the high demand in these areas. Wait, I'll distribute these to you. Take a look at these. Before we dive deeper into the specifics, I want to ensure we have all aligned on the strategic importance of these initiatives. Expanding our footprint and diversifying our services positions us well sustainable growth. It's all about enhancing our competitive edge in a crowded market.
Charlie, for the new service centers, are we looking at completely new builds or considering acquisition of existing facilities?
Great question, Casey. We are exploring both options. New builds offers brand consistency and tailored facilities, but acquisitions might provide quicker market entry. Each has its risks and benefits, which we need to weigh carefully.
And regarding the car wash service, how are we planning to finance and initial setup costs? Are these accounted for in our current budget projections?
Jamie, we are looking at a mix of internal funding and potential financing options. It's crucial that we maintain a balanced approach to ensure financial stability. Detailed cost analysis and forecasts are underway to integrate these into our overall budget. Wait, I will share the draft which illustrates the potential financial models and their impact on pit stop budgets.
It's also vital we consider the environmental regulation and compliance standards for both expanding services centers and introducing car wash services. Early integration of these considerations will be key to a smooth route.
Absolutely, Taylor. Ensuring compliance and ethical operation is a cornerstone of this expansion. I'd like to hear your thoughts on these points. Any corner or additional insights you would like to add to this stage? Okay, then let's move on to the discussion of the organizational process and requirements that will underpin our success in these endeavors. Moving on, let's delve into the organizational processes, procedures, and requirements critical for our expansion success. First, let's talk about the process for new service integration. Casey, could you start us off?
Certainly, Charlie. Integrating a new service like a car wash involves several key steps. Initially, we conduct market research to validate demand. Following that, we develop a detailed service model which includes operational workflows, staffing needs, and technology requirements. This model is then tested in a pilot program before full-scale integration. It's crucial that these new services align with our existing operations to ensure a seamless customer experience.
Thanks, Casey. That seamless integration is vital. Jamie, can you speak to the expansion approval procedures?
Sure thing. For expansion approval, we first prepare a comprehensive business case including financial projections and market analysis. This is a review by our internal finance committee and, if necessary, external investors or banks for funding approvals. Regulatory approvals are also sought in parallel, ensuring we meet all legal and compliance requirements before proceeding.
Perfect, Jamie. Now, regarding resources allocations, how do we plan to approach this?
Resources allocation for new projects follows a strategic assessment of our budget capabilities and resource availability. We prioritize projects based on strategic fit, potential return on investment, and alignment with our long-term goals. This includes allocating financial resources but also identify the right mix of human and physical resources to support the project's success.
Great insights, Jamie. Taylor, can you expand on compliance and regulatory requirements?
Absolutely. Every new service and expansion location is evaluated for compliance with local, state and federal regulation. We conduct environmental impact assessment, obtain necessary permits and ensure all operations are up to standard. Regular audits and compliance checks are integrated into the operational schedule to maintain adherence over time.
Thanks, Taylor. Lastly, let's touch on our risk management framework. I believe it's a cornerstone for navigating the uncertainties of expansion.
Our risk management framework involves identifying potential risk early in the planning phase. We assess each risk for its impact and likelihood, then develop migration or contingency plans. This framework will be applied regularly through the expansion to anticipate and address risk proactively, ensure our expansion realize.
Thank you everyone for the insightful discussions. Before we move on forward, let me briefly recap the essential processes and procedures we have covered today, ensuring we have all aligned and understand our next steps. The first one, process for new service integration, is we outline how we assess, develop and integrate new services like the car wash into our existing operations, emphasizing the importance of market research and pilot programs for seamless customer experience. And then secondly, expansion approval procedures. We discuss the comprehensive steps for obtaining both internal and external approvals of our expansion plans, including financial projections, market analysis, and regulatory approvals. And thirdly, we talked about resource allocation. We delved into our strategy for allocation, financial, human, and physical resources, prioritizing projects that align with our strategic goals and ensuring a balanced approach to support project success. Fourthly, we talked about compliance and regulatory requirements. We have reviewed our approach to meeting local, state, and federal regulations, including environmental impact assessments and regular compliance checks to maintain operational standards. And then finally, we talked about risk management framework. We reaffirm our commitment to identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks through our established framework, ensuring our expansion is resilient and prepared for potential challenges. So each of these processes and procedures forms the backbone of our expansion strategy. Ensuring they are thoroughly planned and executed will be critical to our success. With these foundational processes and procedures in place, we are all well equipped to navigate the complexities of our expansion and new service introduction. It's crucial that we remain diligent and collaborative as we proceed. Let's make sure to keep these discussions going as we move forward with our plan. Any final thoughts before we proceed? With that comprehensive overview, I believe we are well prepared to face the complexities of our expansion. Thank you all for your detailed inputs. Let's gear up for a successful rollout. Now, let's turn our attention to identifying the potential risks associated with our expansion efforts. Okay, now let's shift gears to the crucial part of today's agenda, which is identifying potential risks through brainstorming and SWOT analysis. I will kick things off and I encourage everyone to share openly. Let's start with the brainstorming session. What risks do we foresee with our expansion and new service introduction?
I'll start. A major risk could be underestimating the operational complexities of integrating the car wash service, leading to inefficiencies or delays.
And from a financial perspective, there are the risk of not securing enough funding, which should be limit our expansion scope of affected the quality of new services.
Compliance wise, there is always risk of new regulation or changes in exciting ones that we might not have anticipated, impacting our operation or causing delays.
Excellent points. Let's also consider market risk, such as changes in customer preferences or increased competition that could affect our market share.
Another operational risk could be the challenge in maintaining service quality across all our locations as we expand, potentially harming our brand reputation.
Additionally, we should consider the risk associated with the staff training and retention. Expanding our services means we will need more skilled staff, and retaining them could become a challenge in a competitive labor market.
There's also a risk of potential supply chain disruption. As we scale, ensuring a steady supply of high quality materials for our car wash service and other offerings will be crucial.
Great insights, everyone. Those are very important additional risks, highlighting the importance of human resources and supply chain management in our expansion plan. Now, let's use these points as a springboard for our SWOT analysis. What strengths do we have that could help us mitigate these risks?
Our strong financial planning and existing market presence are significant strengths. They will give us a solid foundation to tackle financial and market risk.
And our commitment to compliance and ethical standard position us well to navigate regulatory risk efficiently.
Exactly. Moving to the weaknesses, it sounds like our current operational capacity and readiness for regulatory changes could be areas of vulnerability. How about the opportunities?
The expansion offers an opportunity to adopt new technologies that could improve efficiency and customer experience, setting us apart from competitors.
And finally, the threats.
External financial pressure, like unexpected economic downturn, pose a threat to our funding and overall financial stability.
Great. This SWOT analysis has provided us with a comprehensive view of where we stand. It's clear we have several risks to address, but also numerous strengths and opportunities to leverage. Let's quickly summarize the key risks that we identified through our brainstorming and SWOT analysis. This will ensure we have a clear focus for our next steps in risk mitigation planning. The operational complexities, the risk of understanding complexities involved in integrating new car wash service and maintaining services quality across locations, and the financial uncertainties, the challenge of securing adequate funding for the expansion, and the impact of external financial pressures like economic downturns. The regulatory changes, the possibility of new or changing regulations that we may not have anticipated, which could affect our operations or cause delays. And about the market risks, changes in customer preferences and increased competition that could threaten our market share and brand reputation. And then we talk about the staff training and retention, the need for skilled staff and challenge for retaining them in a competitive labor market. And lastly, the supply chain disruptions, ensuring a steady supply of materials amid potential disruptions. Can anyone confirm these points?
Yes, your summary includes all the risks we define in our discussion.
Okay, then let's move on to our agenda item 5, which is the prioritization and documentation of identified risks. Thanks to everyone's contributions, we have a solid list of potential risks. Now, let's move into the prioritizing these risks based on their likelihood and impact on our expansion and new service introduction. We can aim to document these top 5 risks to focus on mitigation efforts effectively. Let's start with the review of the risks we identified.
From our discussion, we identified operational complexities, financial uncertainties, regulatory changes, market risk, staff training and retention, and supply chain disruption as our main concerns.
If we consider both impact and likelihood, I argue that operational complexities and staff training and retention should be high on our list. These directly affect our service quality and operational efficiency.
Regulatory changes are also critical. They not only have a high likelihood given our industry, but also a significant impact on our operation and compliance cost.
Agreed. What about the financial uncertainties and supply chain disruptions? How do we see their impact and likelihood compared to the others?
Financial uncertainties are a high impact risk, especially considering our expansion scale and the investment needed for the new services. It's a foundational concern that affects all other areas. And with the current global climate, supply chain disruption are more likely than ever and can significantly impact our operations and customer satisfaction.
Considering our discussion, it sounds like operational complexities, staff training and retention, regulatory changes, financial uncertainties, and supply chain disruptions are our top risks based on both their impact and likelihood.
That makes sense. Market risks are important but may be less immediate compared to these operational and financial considerations.
Exactly. I will document these 5 as our priority risks: operational complexities, staff training and retention, regulatory changes, financial uncertainties, and supply chain disruptions. Our next steps will involve developing detailed mitigation strategies for each. This prioritization will guide our efforts to ensure the resilience and success of our expansion. Thank you, team, for your insights and collaborative spirit today. We have made significant progress today. I will share the documented list and our next steps by email following this meeting. Let's continue to work together closely as we refine our strategies and move forward with our plans. And then let's move on to the agenda item 6, which is a discussion on compliance and ethical considerations. Now that we have identified and prioritized our key risks, let's turn our attention to equally important discussion: compliance and ethical considerations. As we expand, it's critical to ensure that our actions are not only compliant but also ethically sound. Taylor, could you lead us into the discussion focusing on the potential perceptions of our actions?
Absolutely, Charlie. Even with all our effort to comply with regulation, there is always a risk that our action could be misconstrued as malpractice or even fraud. For instance, aggressive marketing strategies might be seen as misleading, or a misunderstanding in financial reporting could raise suspicions even if uni-
That's a valid point, Taylor. It emphasized the need. That's a valid point, yeah. That's a valid point. Taylor, it emphasized the need for transparency in all our financial dealings and communications, ensuring that our stakeholders have a clear understanding of our operations and finances. Ensuring that our stakeholders have a clear understanding of operations and financial health can mitigate such perceptions.
And from an operational perspective, it's about more than just following regulations to the letter. It's about building a culture that values ethical decision making and integrity, ensuring our staff always considering the broader implications of their actions.
Absolutely, Casey. It's about the spirits of operations and not just adherence to rules. Taylor, how do we ensure we stay ahead in this area?
It starts with ongoing training for our staff, making sure everyone is aware of not only the regulation but also the ethical standards we hold ourselves. Additionally, implementing robots oversight mechanisms can help catch potential issues before they scale. Regular audit and feedback loops with stakeholders can also provide insight into how our actions are perceived externally.
Those are strategies there. It's clear that fostering an ethical culture and maintaining open lines of communication with all stakeholders are key to navigating these complexities. This approach will not only help us to mitigate risk but also strengthen our reputation in the market.
I think it would also be wise to have a contingency plan in place should any issues arise. Being prepared to address concerns quickly and effectively is crucial.
Great point, Jamie. Let's action that. Ensuring our expansion is both compliant and ethically sound is not just good practice. It's fundamental to our long-term success. I'll make sure these considerations are integrated into our risk management framework and operational plans. Thank you everyone for this thoughtful discussion. It's clear we are committed to upholding the highest standards as we move forward. Okay, then let's move on to the agenda 7, which is the discussion on next steps. As we wrap up today's production session, let's outline the next steps and responsibilities to ensure we move forward effectively with our expansion plans. We have identified and prioritized our risks and discussed compliance and ethical considerations. Now it's time to develop a preliminary action plan and delve deeper into our risk mitigation strategies. First, we need a detailed risk assessment for each of the prioritized risks: operational complexities, staff training and retention, regulatory changes, financial uncertainties, and supply chain disruptions. Based on our discussions, here how I see us assigning responsibilities. Jane, given your expertise in finance, I would like you to take the lead on assessing financial uncertainties and supply chain disruptions. This will involve further financial modeling and engaging with our suppliers to understand potential vulnerabilities.
Understood, Charlie. I'll start by updating our financial projections to account for these risks and reach out to our key suppliers for input on minimizing disruptions.
Casey, your operational insight will be crucial for evaluating the complexities of integrating of the car wash service and addressing staff training and retention. I would like you to outline the potential operational hurdles and develop a good plan for staff development.
Got it, Charlie. I'll work on mapping out the operational workflows for the new service and identify our staffing needs, including a training schedule.
Taylor, with your deep understanding of compliance, you are the best fit for leading the assessment on regulatory changes. Please ensure we have prepared for any upcoming regulations that could impact our expansion.
Absolutely, Charlie. I will conduct a comprehensive review of regulatory landscape in our expansion areas and propose action to ensure full compliance.
Once we have the assessments, we will reconsider to review our findings and integrate them into a holistic risk mitigation plan. I will oversee the coordination of this effort and ensure we have a clear strategy for addressing each identified risk. Finally, it's critical we document our findings and strategies. I'd like to each you to prepare a report on your respective areas. These reports will be combined into an overarching risk management document that we can present to the board.
Will do, Charlie.
Excellent. I appreciate everyone's commitment today. The tasks ahead are significant, but with our collaborative approach, I am confident we will navigate these challenges successfully. Let's aim to have initial assessment and reports ready in 2 weeks' time. As we come to the close of the today's session, I want to first express my gratitude to each of you for your contributions. We have accomplished a lot today. We began with a comprehensive overview of our expansion plans and the introduction of the new cargo service. We then moved through discussion on organizational processes, unidentified and prioritized key risks, and delved into compliance and ethical considerations. Thanks to your expertise and insights, we now have a clear path forward. Jamie, Casey, Taylor, your input has been valuable in ensuring we consider every angle of expansion. The collaboration seen today exemplifies the strength of our team and heads well for the success of our project. Looking ahead, we have set tasks and assigned responsibilities for detailed risk assessment. Jamie will tackle financial uncertainties and supply chain disruptions. Casey will focus on operational complexities and staff training. Taylor will assess regulatory changes. Each of you will prepare a report on your findings, which we will use to develop a comprehensive mitigation plan. We will schedule a follow-up meeting then to consolidate our mitigation plan. Thanks again for your hard work and dedication today. Let's make this expansion a resounding success. Meeting adjourned.